We're going to call this the October meeting of the Moore County Board of Education to order. We'll recognize Mr. Harvey for the invocation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let us pray. May the words spoken in this room tonight be beneficial to the students, parents, staff, and administrators in our school system. And may we be led by the guiding principle to always base our decisions on the best interests of our young people. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Williams will present the agenda for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the Board of Education, tonight presented for your consideration and approval is the agenda with one proposed change. We would like to move the NC STAR plans from action portion of the agenda to presentation, since this is your initial review of them.
Move to approve the agenda with the one change.
All right. Second. Motion by Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Davis. Any further discussion about the agenda? We'll call for a vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. Yeah. The agenda is approved. Next item is the board chair comments, and I will defer to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will, before starting my report, I certainly want to say that I hope we join with all of our community members and people all across the nation in thinking about the national tragedy today, or last night in Las Vegas, and we join with sending our thoughts and prayers to those injured and families of those killed in that tragedy. We have had a smooth start to the school year, and that has continued. We are observing the caps, the classroom caps in K3 and in our other grades as well, especially the new hard caps in K3 and the averages for this year, and we've been doing well with that. Our team has been working hard to resolve any conflicts that we've had in going forward, and that's quite a challenge not to go over and exceed those class size caps, but our teachers and our principals and our administrators here at the central office have been working very hard to do that. So I certainly thank them for that. I want to thank all of our teachers, all of our students, all of our administrators and other staff members for making this such a very smooth start to the school year, and it continues to be so. So thank you and congratulations on your hard work. Lenoir County Public Schools sent a team to Greensboro last week to present our turnaround journey. We were asked by our accreditation team, formerly Southern Association, then Sachs Casey, and now it's Advanced Ed. As I told you last month, we had been invited to go and present information about our turnaround efforts as a school system. Well, we did that this past week, and I received some very good feedback from the team, and I was told that our team did an outstanding job and that we should be very proud of them. So I want to salute, to commend Ms. Herring led our team, and we had a team made up of our administrators and other educators there presenting about Lenoir County Public Schools. I do want to let the board know that we were the only school system in the state of North Carolina invited to present at this Advanced Ed conference on school system improvement, and I was told that we did a great job, so I thanked our team, but I certainly wanted to acknowledge that for the board tonight as well. And in the wake of that presentation, I've already received two other invitations, one from NCDPI to present at the School Improvement Conference, and one from NCASA, our School Administrators Association, to present at their conference in the spring, so we're excited about that. Tonight it's also my honor to present the Silver Bell Award given by the North Carolina School Boards Association. This award was actually presented at a regional meeting a couple of weeks ago in Pamlico County. They hosted that meeting for the association, and the award was accepted on behalf of the Board of Education, our Board of Ed, by Mr. Bruce Hill. So thank you, Mr. Hill, for doing that. So tonight I'd like to officially present that Award, and the Silver Bell Award is for training excellence and commitment during the 2016-17 school year last year from the NCSBA Academy of the School Boards Association for school boardsmanship. So congratulations to the board on earning their training hours and going to professional development opportunities and taking the initiative and effort to move forward together as a board and training and learning everything that they can about relevant issues confronting us as a school system and as a community. So I congratulate you, and if you'd step forward, I'd like to present this to you officially, and Mr. Holmes can take a photo. I'll just stand on this side. I'll stand on this side.
All right, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1 more. 1, 2, great, thanks.
Short one in the middle. Yeah.
It's also my great honor to commend, to highlight, to honor one of our best and brightest teachers. Ms. Megan Lawson from Pink Hill Elementary School was recently named the 2017 North Carolina Council of Mathematics Outstanding Math Teacher for Lenore County Public Schools. Ms. Lawson has spent half of her 10-year career as a kindergarten teacher at Pink Hill, and she's become an integral part of the district's math leadership team. She helped write the district's K math curriculum, and this summer she worked for NCDPI to develop a state math guide for kindergarten. Ms. Lawson credits the Lenore County Public Schools STEM Math Symposium, Summer Professional Development, developed by LCPS and East Carolina University, with making math her favorite subject to teach and changing the way that she teaches it. We thought that was a great reflection from Ms. Lawson. Her Teacher of the Year Award will be presented at a state conference in Greensboro in November. Tonight, we've asked Ms. Lawson to be here to recognize her before you, the board, and our community gathered here. And we'd just like to say thank you, Ms. Lawson. Congratulations on your honor, but thank you for your hard work and everything that you do. And we'd just like to salute you. We'd ask that you'll come forward. We'll give you a round of applause, and then we have some of your colleagues that we're going to recognize, and we can take the photos together. But if you'll come forward, we'll give her a round of applause, and she can stand right up here. Stand right up here, and we'll recognize your colleagues, the folks you work with every day. So this is part of tonight, I guess, is Pink Hill night. So congratulations to the outstanding team at Pink Hill Elementary School. 4 teachers from Pink Hill have teamed up to win 2 grants for their classrooms. 2nd grade teacher Jean Turner and 4th grade teacher Selena Gray were recipients of the Reflex Math grant valued at $16,000 for their classrooms. The grant provides digital licenses for up to 35 students in each class and access to a game-based program that drills them in math facts. So congratulations to them. If they would come forward at this time. If you will stand over here, let's give them a round of applause. This way. We're flexible. Okay, exceptional children's teachers Amy Taylor, I work with Amy Jones here. Amy Taylor from Pink Hill Elementary School and Chris Radford have won a Pets in the Classroom grant from PetSmart. This grant gives each class stocked and outfitted aquariums for their classrooms, which in the words of these 2 teachers, have a calming effect on their students. So congratulations to them. Let's give them a round of applause. I would just like to say, before we present the certificates and take photos, that currently Pink Hill Elementary School leads all of our schools in the number of grants they receive, and I think there's a direct correlation in the number of grants that they submit, because they're submitting about 3 times the number of any school, and that's extra effort and initiative. So let us reward and recognize them with a round of applause. proud of. Let's give them another round. We are knee-deep in the grant writing season. Bright Ideas and Touchstone Energy grants have just been submitted, the deadline for that, and I'm proud to tell you Lenoir County Schools last year doubled the number that we had submitted in any previous year, and this year we've almost doubled that number. As a district, we have submitted over 150 of those grants, and in prior years it might have been 15, 20, 25. We've submitted as many as 30. So I'm really, really excited about that and proud of our teachers and the extra effort that they are setting forth. Tonight it's my pleasure to congratulate two of our students from Kinston High School, juniors, Brianna Brooks and Nigel Wilkins, who each received an award of excellence from the National Academy of Future Physicians and Medical Scientists as members of the North Carolina delegation to this summer's Congress of Future Medical Leaders in Boston. Nominated by their school, Brianna and Nigel joined students from across the country on the campus of UMass Lowell University for the 3-day conference. Students who attended the conference are automatically inducted into the Torch and Laurel Honor Society, and through membership they gain access to scholarships and mentorship programs. Brianna plans a career as a general practitioner, and Nigel plans a career as a psychologist. So let's give them a round of applause. We received outstanding feedback from both of these two young people. They presented themselves well and represented our school system very, very well. Congratulations. Take off most of you. Finally, Mr. Chairman, we would like to welcome the Boy Scouts to our board meeting tonight. They are attending this meeting to fulfill one of the requirements of citizenship in the Community Merit Badge. The Scouts are members of Troop 41, sponsored by Gordon Street Christian Church. They are. If you'd stand when I call your name, please, and if your name is not on the list and you're here tonight, we're glad to have you. Please stand as well, and we will congratulate you and thank you for being here with a round of applause. Aaron Blizzard, Thomas Grady, Joshua Hardy, Javier Martinez Rodriguez, Trey Morgan, Andrew Warman, David Philippi, Trey Price, Weston Rouse, and Landon Whaley. Let's give them a thank you. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Williams. Next section is the public comment, and I understand we do not have anyone signed up tonight, so we're going to move straight into the presentation portion of our agenda. Try not to keep these young people here too late, Francis.
And older.
Yes, thank you. Good evening. As part of our ongoing digital initiative, we have two schools with us tonight that would like to present to showcase their use of digital learning. The Early College High School is with us tonight. The presenter is Mr. David Jenkins,
And the students are Jose Cartaniga Lanza, Andy Lee, and Elijah Heath. And then the school that will present after is Frink Middle School, and I'll introduce them when they come forward.
Welcome.
Good evening. Mr. Jenkins has worked with his classes on some stop motion animation. So stop motion animation is when they create a video where they are moving pieces a little bit at a time and taking pictures of those movements and putting them all together to create a video. So we've got, for these guys here.
Yeah, so our topic was ozone depletion. And first of all, we talked about it in class, of course, and they had a rubric, and one of the first things that they had to do was storyboard, come up with their props, and then it was like, it's on you guys. Do what you need to do. So here's their rendition of ozone depletion. And now each student will tell you a little challenge they had with their project.
My job basically was taking the pictures, and my challenge was making sure the picture was the same like the iPad didn't flip upside down with the camera, and making sure that the movement wasn't too far, you couldn't tell what was going on, but not like close enough where you could see like the actual fluidity of the project.
My challenge was I was the one that put the pictures together, and I wanted to make sure that the animation went smoothly and that the pictures didn't go too slow or fast.
And my challenge was the background music and to make sure the music to go well with the slides and the animation.
So you did great on the music.
I appreciate that.
These students were from last year, and so my challenge to my students this year was to take what the concept that these guys came up with and improve upon it. So hopefully you'll see a little bit difference this year. The big thing was that the students this year had to make theirs a little bit shorter. These guys were like a minute long, so people don't realize that they took over 100 pictures to get just 40-some seconds. So it's almost a week-long process, but well worth it, I think.
Well, thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah,
I
thank you so
appreciate it. It
much.
was great. Thank you so much. Next, Frink Middle School. Presenter, Ms. Susanna Moy. She's the Digital Learning Specialist for Frink Middle School. And the student with her this evening is Jack Britt. And the description is that the 7th grade science class has recently completed a project about the parts of the cell, and students had several choices of activities to complete for their project. And some of the students created videos for their cell projects. So I'm going to turn it over to Jack and Ms. Moy.
Here we go. All right, so they, in their 7th grade science class, they're learning about the parts of the cell. And so they had, as like their culminating project, they could make like a brochure or a 3D model or a video about the different parts of the cell. And Jack decided to do a video. So I'll show you the video and then I'll let him talk about it a little bit.
First up being the cell membrane. Now the cell membrane is found in both plant and animal cells. In plant cells it is the inside kind of layer, and on the animal cell it is the only layer, so I guess it's the outside and the inside. So the cell membrane is semi-permeable and it allows some carbon monoxide, oxygen, and water to enter into the cells, but it is semi-permeable, so not all things can go in the cells. So it's basically like an antivirus system for your computer. It allows the good files to go in, but it blocks the viruses. Next up is the cell wall. Now the cell wall is only found in plants, and it is what keeps the structure. So we have a little crepe myrtle here. You can see the leaves are kind of just, they're like staying up. So you can think the cell wall, if you're a plant, you know, watching this, that's what keeps it up and it's supported. Next up is the nucleus, and the nucleus is, so next up is the nucleus, and what it is basically the brain or the mayor of the cell. It controls all activities like your brain. It controls you moving your arms and all that, and it stores genetic material like DNA. So next up is the cytoplasm. Now this is a jelly-like material, and it holds all the organelles, or kind of think of organelles as organs in your body. It's like the nucleus, the mitochondria, all the different parts of the cells. It holds them in place so they aren't just like floating around everywhere. It's like your heart's right here, and like your stomach is like right here. So that stuff is the mitochondria. Now the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. That's what it's referred to as. But also it makes sugars and all that. Next up is the chloroplast. Now the chloroplast in plants is, now the chloroplast is only found in, next up it gathers sunlight to make sugars, and it is what makes plants green. Now this is only found in plants, that's because aren't green. So you can see the green color. This is just filmed on my school. This is just filmed on my school iPad, so the autofocus isn't that great, but you should be able to tell. But you should be able to tell it's green, if it was blurry or not. And next up, and the final organelle we're going to talk about today is the vacuole. Now the vacuole is predominantly in plants. It's bigger in plants. It's like most of the plant cell. Now it holds water, a little bit of food, and it holds toxic waste. Now the reason why it holds water is because the plant, it cannot go out and search for water. So guys, that is basically the end of my presentation. I hope you liked it. Throughout the year there's going to be more presentations like this one, very high production quality. I'm ready for an iPad. So yeah, that is basically my presentation. I'll see you later.
He's leaving legit in 15 minutes.
Great job, Jack.
Yes, we loved his video. We thought it was so funny. And he had all the parts and knew everything. How long did it take you to make this video?
From filming to like the end,
Probably about 3 hours.
Yeah, he's going to be a YouTube sensation with his videos.
You get a lot of hits on that.
Yes. Thank you.
Great job,
Thank
Dad.
you
Great
so
job.
much.
Next item is the professional development update. Ms. Harry.
Good evening. I will be presenting the professional development overview for the fall of 2017. I'm hijacking the screen, I hope. Thank you, Mr. White.
You're welcome.
You tell us to do that a lot. Great, thank you, sir. So I want to provide an overview for the professional development that we've had in August and September because it has been a particularly robust schedule of professional development. In August, the week before the students returned, we provide several days of professional development for our staff. With the closing of Teachers Memorial, we have had to spread out our professional development opportunities. And so the hub, the main hub for professional development in August before the kids came back was at Kinston High School. We had morning and afternoon sessions on a rotation. We were in the Media Center, we were in the Performing Arts Center, we were in about 4 or 5 different classrooms, and we had taken over, of course, the cyber campus at Kinston High School. So we were full. We also had sessions at the Global Trans Park, we had sessions at Pink Hill Elementary, and we had sessions here at Central Services in the boardroom. The various topics that we covered in August of this year were best practices for instructional planning and district goal attainment. That was really the meat that everybody got a piece of. Everyone had to sit and absorb some professional development with regards to writing lesson plans and making sure that we were staying aligned to the district goals. We also provide sessions on curriculum guide development, and particularly science. We have obtained a grant, the NT3 grant, to the National Board. It's a teaching grant for our kindergarten through 1st grade teachers to build literacy skills. And so it had its kickoff then in August as well. There was also an NC Star refresher. And all of the teachers K-12 and all the subjects listed, all of the different subjects listed in the administrators, including APs, were provided professional development in August in one of the various topics. We also make sure that our teachers and staff earn their CEUs. So we do set these sessions up in our C system so that they can earn their continuing education credits. The September professional development has been very busy, but I wanted to share with you we had an early out in September, and so September 21st, it's an early out day, and we provided tremendous amounts of professional development for every teacher in the district on that early out day. And then on September 27th, we had a day-long professional development for our K-1 teachers. Dr. Winings was kind enough to share this email with me. I did put the teacher's name at the bottom because I hadn't had a chance to talk to her to give her permission to share her name. But this is the email that she sent Dr. Winings after the September 27th professional development. I just wanted to share with you how wonderful yesterday's workshop was and to thank you for inviting K-1 teachers from the county to attend. This was one of the best workshops I've attended, and I've learned so much that I plan to share with my team. I wish every K-1 teacher could have the opportunity to attend these trainings, and maybe with a grant we can make that happen. I don't usually send emails like this, but I truly feel this training is that beneficial. And I CC'd Mr. Williams because I want him to know how powerful the training was and to let him know how much I appreciate you setting it up. LCPS has great potential, and trainings like this one will help us meet that potential. So the teacher was so moved by the professional development on the 27th that Dr. Winings facilitated, and it was so good not to share. This is a picture where I came in on that particular professional development on September 27th. You can see it's here in the boardroom. The presenter was Ms. Jen Jones. She's a national presenter, but we're fortunate enough to have her here in North Carolina. She lives in Raleigh. It was paid for through the NT3 grant. It focused on K-1 literacy. And what was so exciting is the principals and assistant principals attended with their teachers. And that always gets us very excited because that gives the principals an opportunity, or the building administrators an opportunity to go in and be able to support teachers when they receive professional development. And they can go in and have those ongoing conversations with them with regards to what was learned and what was experienced in these PD sessions. So we were very, very proud of our administrators. It's very hard for them to get out of the building, and so we were very appreciative. The September 21st, 26th, and 27th sessions. We were located on the 21st. We were spread out. Kinston High School, all of the elementary teachers attended a session at Kinston High School. The CTE teachers were at North Lenoir High School. The 6-12 secondary teachers, multiple subject areas, they met at Frink Middle School. All the fine arts teachers in the district met at Banks, and the entire custodial staff from the schools met here at Central Services. The different subjects that were covered during the 21st, 26th, and 27th sessions were the following: how to deepen literacy instruction through the use of academic vocabulary. That was K-12 all subjects. We spent a significant amount of time focusing on academic vocabulary and the important role that it plays in student growth and achievement. We also had a session on the Universal Math Screener. We had sessions on the principles of poverty for school leaders. We had a district-wide Math 1 PLC. We had a digital learning and instruction professional development. And I do want to notice, take a moment to note here that the digital learning and instruction sessions happen in all the schools every month, usually multiple times. And so there was a special session though for 926. And it's really, it's very impressive. The digital learning team meets and plans the agendas and the information that they're going to share and roll out to the staff in each of their respective schools. And it's very intentional, it's very well planned. There was also a section on standards review, followed by lesson plan alignment that Miss Amy Jones led with her CTE staff. It also covered how classroom instruction supports the goals of the local plan, and that was a very productive session. We also covered the standard course of study and the vertical connections across grade spans. The Fine Arts Department took a significant amount of time to do that. The high school math teachers reviewed student data and the Math 1 standards, and they created a plan of action for this year based on the data from last year. And we also had a lunch and learn session with the custodians here at Central Services. This is another image from the session on the 26th, the Hello Literacy with Jen Jones, and it's just another quote from the teacher from earlier. One of the best workshops I've attended. This is the flyer that was sent out to the schools for our lunch and learn for our custodial staff. Mr. Harvey and I had a conversation with the head custodian in one of the schools, and he had asked, where was our opening meeting? And we had a realization at that point that the custodians had not had an opening meeting, and they haven't for several years. I think in previous years they had. And, everyone did. Bus drivers had an opening meeting, cafeteria staff had an opening meeting, teachers had an opening meeting, everybody, but the custodians did not. And so Mr. Harvey and I felt very strongly that we needed to provide an opportunity to bring our custodians together and let them know how much they're appreciated and to provide them with some professional development. So they came on the early out day. We fed them lunch. They had Chick-fil-A lunches, and we gave each of them a small token of the district's appreciation. We had over 40 custodians from all 17 of our locations attend. We had formal presentations from the Finance Department, Human Resources Department, and Environmental Services. And I just took a moment to do the introduction with the custodians that day. And the purpose of the topic of my introduction to them was to focus on what the word custodian actually means. And when you look up the word custodian, it means keeper, guardian, steward, and protector. And so we talked about the values and the important roles that they play in the school. And we let them know how much we appreciated them. And I think it went very well. This is a link to where we house our professional development opportunities. This is on our instructional website. So when you go and you click on professional development, the list of every professional development is here for the teachers to go. They can search it by month if they want to know what opportunities are available in October. If they know the title, they can look it up. They can look at it through categories, subject areas, and grade. But this is all, it includes the C-system numbers, the locations, the topic. It's very comprehensive. We do not conduct a professional development in the district without including it in this, this easy access list for our staff. So it's at 2 pages now. We have right now 88 different professional development sessions scheduled for our teachers, staff, and for North County Schools. So we're very proud of that.
All right, any questions for Ms. Herring
I think that is
on
the
that
last
presentation?
slide. Do you have any questions? Sorry, thank you.
Have you noticed any effect coming out of teachers?
Any what coming out of teachers?
Any effect coming out of teachers?
Well, with regards to planning professional development, it has, we've had to be very strategic. It is a little more complicated for us to schedule our professional development. We have to, work with, there's a lot more moving parts now that we don't have a centralized location large enough to conduct all of these sessions at one time. But we were able to, unfortunately, poor Ms. Bryant, Kinston High School was taken over in August. We didn't just need the cyber campus, we kind of took over the whole school, but she was very accommodating, and so was her staff, and we are very appreciative of that. But it does increase the moving parts.
But you do have adequate space.
We do have space. We've been able to conduct all of our professional development in the sites throughout the district.
Any other questions for Ms. Herring tonight? All right, we'll move to the next section, LCPS discipline data for 2016-2017. Mr. Harvey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight, I'll provide a visual representation of a culmination of the data that you receive monthly in your monthly reports from Ms. Sheila Heath in regards to student discipline data. Please note, the following results are based on preliminary data submitted to DPI and compiled for local comparison. The data is currently being refined and processed by NCDPI and may differ from the results below. The official report is scheduled to be released in the spring semester of 2018. First slide you have tonight are the reportable offenses. Those reportable offenses are offenses that are much more serious than your daily, sorry. You should have it.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. So you're not showing it?
No.
Okay.
Or your reportable offense, I can. Your reportable offenses, I said, are your much more serious offenses. For the 2016-17 school year, I'm proud to announce that we are down significantly in our reportable offenses from the 2015-16 school year. You may have to hijack me.
Okay.
I've been having, that's why I was having an issue all day on mine. So.
Yeah. Not been fun. Let me see what I can do for you. There we go.
All right. Go up to reportable offenses. Okay. So the 2015-16 school year, we had 79 reportable offenses, and they're listed for you above. This year, we only had 51, which is still a significant number, but we are definitely headed in the right direction in our reportable offenses. Here you have your reportable offenses broken down by your subcategories. We did have 20 instances of possession of marijuana, and that was our one reportable offense last year in that area. We had 6 possession of alcohol or use of alcoholic beverages. Suspensions and expulsions. Also proud to announce tonight that we are down by 55 students from this 15-16 school year. 55 students, if that's 1 day of suspension, that equates to over 426 hours of gained instruction by students being in our classrooms. If those suspensions, just for an example, are a 2-day suspension, that equates to 852 hours. And if there are 3-day suspension, it's 1,298 hours of increased instruction of students being in our classrooms. Some of those suspensions could have been much as a 10-day suspension, so those numbers of gained hours would grow. But I want to give you a small representation of what just a 1-day suspension, over 400 hours gained of instruction in our classrooms because of the hard work of our administrators and our teachers. Suspensions and exposures by gender and race for female, as you see, we are, we are down in every category except our American Indian and our 2 or more identified race. We are down from the 16-17 school year in 44 in our female race. Broken down by male, we are down 11. The most significant decrease was in our white male population. They had a negative 92. Our most frequent reasons for suspension, broken down for the last several years. As you see, the one increased area that we had over the last school year was disrespect to staff. We had a gain of 158 incidents of disrespect to staff. We had 107 less cases of fighting, 102 less cases of disruptive behavior, 27 less cases of insubordination, and 103 less cases of inappropriate language. Our long-term recommendations to the alternative placements. We are down significantly in our long-term alternative placements. Last year we had a total of 40 alternative placements. That's down from 73 in the 15-16 school year. What stands out in this slide are the 28 black males that were assigned to the alternative school last year. And not to make excuses for our principals, not to make excuses for anyone, but 10 of those students involved one case on one day at one of our schools. So that is the reason for a blossom of 28 black males in that slide. One thing I want to bring back to your attention in our cases of suspensions, I want to applaud South Lenore High School for their intentional approach to addressing the suspension crisis. Over the last several years, South Lenore High School has decreased their suspension significantly. 4 years ago, they had 288 out-of-school suspensions. Year after that, 181. Year after that, 153. And last year, they had a total of 79 out-of-school suspensions. So that's an intentional approach to the suspension crisis. And I want to thank Mr. Sandeman and the entire staff at South Lenore High School for taking this initiative head on. And they should be applauded for that. The last visual slide I have for you tonight is the 2016-17 month one membership by ethnicity. And you see it broken down with 47% of our students identify as black, 13% Hispanic, negative 0.5% Native Hawaiian, 3% 2 or more race, 36% white, less than 5% American Indian, and less than 1% of Asian. And you have your totals beside that for our district enrollment. I'll entertain any questions you may have in regard to the district reports tonight. Yes,
I have one question. I really thank you for the information here, but the NC Star plans that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, yes, what percentage or decrease shall we see in behaviors for this upcoming school year?
That's a great question, Mr. Woods, and I think you'll see another presentation soon from our Exceptional Children's Department, specifically with the PBIS program. You will see the decrease by school in that presentation, and you will hear plans of our path forward with our positive behavior intervention support program.
Okay. So,
any other questions for Mr. Hart?
I got a request.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm not going to drill on the same old stuff. I'm going to refer to this as your slides is page 5, 6, and 7. I'd like to see percentages on those numbers.
Yes.
And I would also like to see the school breakdown by school.
Mr. Harvey, I see the last 4 years we've declined every year in short-term suspensions, every year for 4 straight years. What do you attribute that to?
Our principals have listened to our board. They know that when our students aren't in school, they're not learning. And it has a direct correlation on student achievement when students aren't in their building. So they are using the Positive Behavior Intervention Support Program to offer interventions, in-school interventions. And as a last resort, our students are being sent home. So I applaud all of our principals for a concerted effort to turn the tide in our students.
I think the comprehensive PBIS program, focusing specifically, if you had to isolate one thing, it's a combination of many, many things. But if one had to look at one thing, it would be shifting the mindset about the first offense,
right.
Necessarily automatically resulting in a suspension, but maybe some other type of intervention, from parent contact to some type of in-school placement to something else. So PBIS is a comprehensive approach, as you know, but Mr. Harvey is right, and we'll have school-by-school plans with specific measurable targets for this, and that's what actually, we think that's what's resulted in this, and a lot of hard work on the part of our principals, assistant principals, and our teachers in working to make sure that those, that they're counseling with kids, talking to kids, trying to design not anything to get away with anything and to continue to have high standards for behavior in our schools, but at the same time not making mandatory first offense suspensions, say a mandatory 3-day for the first instance of disrespect. Maybe the child's got something going on and the teacher can talk to them, or the counselor, the principal can talk to them, and something else can be worked out as a first occurrence.
And are we fully implementing PBIS in all of our schools now?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, almost all of our schools, as I mentioned last month, have received 90% or better on the end-of-year rating. We call it the SET rating, the comprehensive rating for the school, and over a 90% rating. And almost all of our schools are exemplary with implementation. So we're very proud of that. A lot of hard work by our PBIS coordinators in the schools. Many of them are assistant principals, but also to our principals and our teachers and committee members for PBIS. But that's not it alone. Our guidance counselors have worked hard talking to our kids and counseling with them. So it's a team effort. So we thank them.
All right. Any other questions on the discipline data? If not, we'll move to the financial report. Mr. Adams.
Thank you. Good evening, Chairman, board members. The September financial report summarizes budget and year-to-date activity for all Lenore County Board of Education funds as of September 30. Additionally, the report presents the fund balance as of September 30th. I'd like to point out and explain the decline in fund balance. In September, the annual payment for iPads is due. That's $1.38 million, and it comes out of local fund balance until we have all of our federal dollars allotted, which typically comes after September, with Title I paying a significant amount of those, that lease payment.
And that's a trend we have every year, and those dollars usually by the end of September.
Yeah. As well as some state funds that we have to transfer from our textbooks and digital resources, and able to pay that liability. So that is a temporary decline in fund balance. Any other questions?
Well, you already knew that one was coming, right?
Yeah.
Somebody was going to ask about that.
Yeah, I was working on it.
That one stood out.
Just don't leave town until we see the fund balance come back up, if you don't mind. Any questions for Mr. Adams tonight on his financial report? All right, then we're gonna, since it is part of the presentation portion of the agenda, I think we're gonna jump to the NC STAR plans.
Yes,
Can
sir.
we do that? Would that work?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Herring.
This evening, we have uploaded for you into board docs the NC STAR, the school improvement plans for each school. And each school presented September 13th, 14th, and 15th to a panel here in this room in 1 to 1.5 hour increments. The panel was composed of Mr. Williams, Mr. Harvey, all grade span directors, Mrs. Letchworth, and myself. The board was invited to attend the presentations, and Mr. Woods and Mr. Anderson attended all of the NC STAR presentations. I do want to note they are both retired, so I'm not trying to. Everyone was invited. Happy to have them.
It's even more admirable that they would come when they could have been out on the golf course.
I'm not trying to make any, I'm not passing any judgment on anyone else. The plans, I would like to note that the plans are aligned with the district's goals and are current with regards to meeting times, minutes, and upcoming tasks. The schools, school improvement teams are all working hard and smart. Please review the plans and let me know if you have any questions before the next meeting. So we have a month to review the plans as they were submitted, and we will ask for your vote to approve them at the next board meeting.
So we've got 17 plans, is that right?
Yes.
And they're running about 20, 25 pages apiece?
That long. They might be.
Yeah, they are. Just check it.
Great October reading.
Mr. Chairman, I was going
Yes,
to
sir.
compliment
Please.
the administrative staff on the diligent work that they put into those, but since they get paid for it anyway. But really, it's really impressive if you sit and listen to them explain what it is they are planning and how they're planning on going about it. This is 2 years now, and having seen the old process and the books that you put on the bookshelf, I really believe this is a more active process, but follow through is everything.
Yes, sir. Inspect what we expect. Yes, sir.
And I absolutely want to thank Mr. Woods and Mr. Anderson for taking their time to participate in that.
Very much
in those
enjoyed
plans.
having them with us.
All right, we will review those and we'll have those back on the agenda for next month for
Yes, sir.
approval.
Yes, sir. Thank you. If you have any questions, do let me know that.
Move to the action portion of our agenda, the flexible benefits plan service contract. Mr. Adams.
Yes, sir. Thank you again. The flexible benefits plan year 2018, which is on a calendar year from January to December. Open enrollment is upcoming at the end of October. So we're presenting the benefits contract with Pierce Group to be our provider for flexible benefits for all of our employees that come in. Do group meetings with all employees. We'll sit down with individual meetings. They're very responsive. Haven't had any complaints from Pierce Group or about Pierce Group. I'm sorry. I did speak to Chris Pierce during this process about when the last time it was bid out, just out of curiosity. And it's been about 8 years, I think, that we've looked at changing our benefits representative. Previously, the district was with Wellington Benefits, and whenever it changed to Pierce Group, that would have been the last time it was bid out. I would request that if it is the pleasure of the board to bid it out, it be for the 19 plan year as we're nearing the open enrollment period.
For the next year.
Yes, sir.
I'd ask Mr. Adams to research the history of how long it had been since it had been bid out.
Well, that was going to be one of my questions. I know we've re-upped this contract several times and we've been satisfied with the services.
We are, and it is an annual contract, so it's not an extended term.
Would you recommend that we bid it out again then the next year to at least see what else is in the market?
It would certainly be, a best practice to look at it. There's a couple of major benefits providers with Wellington, which has since changed their name to First Financial, Mark III, and Pierce Group being the major providers for the state. There's a couple of other smaller ones, but it would certainly be a good idea to look at it and see if we can make sure we're getting the best products, benefits, and rates for all of our
That
employees.
would be our recommendation, yes.
So that would be their recommendation.
This cycle is already in place.
Sure.
We should go forward with this.
So I'm understanding the recommendation is to go forward with the contract as is this year and bid it out for next year.
Yes, sir.
All right. Does anybody else have any questions for Mr. Adams? We'll entertain a motion. I think the motion can go ahead and address approval with bidding it out for the following year. If someone wants to make one.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the contract as presented and then to do proposals for the year 2019.
Yes. All right, motion by Mr. Hill. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. King. Any further discussion on the motion?
Let me ask one question. Does it cost the district anything to have these benefits accessible to our employees?
No.
No, there's no fee. I mean, I know we have to provide them with some location, but it doesn't cost us anything for the employees to have access.
That's what I'm looking for. Scrolling through.
All right, any further discussion?
No, sir.
We'll call for a vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. It is approved.
Thank you.
Mr. Adams, before you move, you went a little bit too fast for me on that fund balance a while ago.
Go right ahead.
I was still doing figures. Where it says the net loss, 1,305,419, and that figure is reflective of what?
Well, it's the month
It's
to
all
date,
leave.
or the
Month to
year-to-date
date.
activity since July 1 for our local fund balance. The reason for the 1.3 million is the lease payments made out, which was 1.38 million.
Yeah, I pay.
Pretty much accounts for all of it.
Yeah.
I was doing the figure from last month's fund balance to this one. Okay, the figure was a little different, but I get with you. Maybe I'm not understanding all of it, but I got the lease payment part. Okay.
All right, thank you, Mr. Adams. Our next item is an out-of-state school field trip
Yes.
for the early college, Ms. Perry.
Yes, sir. Thank you. The Early College High School is requesting the opportunity to take 25 to 30 students to Atlanta, Georgia, to Six Flags and to the Georgia Aquarium as a positive behavior for completing District Goal 2, which is completing 2 years of college for our fall in high school. So for the children that reach this pinnacle, the college high school would like to offer them a trip. It'll be in May. Yeah, once school is out, they'll be finished back home. So it'll be after school.
Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Davis. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Hill. Any further discussion on the motion? We'll call for a vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. It is approved.
Thank you.
And we got a little bit of surplus property. Mr. Harvey.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Technology Department actually deemed current items as surplus either through sale or disposal. If the proceeds returned back to the Technology Department.
Or the easy proceed.
If there are proceeds.
From that.
His calculators? or what?
Calculators, scientific calculators.
Old calculators. Cutting edge technology we're getting rid of.
It's called that,
Okay. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve the discarded items as surplus and sale to proceeds returned to the appropriate department.
All right, motion by Mr. Hill. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Smith. Call for a vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. The property is declared surplus.
Thanks.
We will now entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I move that the Lenore County Board of Education go into closed session under North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11 to prevent disclosure of confidential personnel files to consult with the board's attorney in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege and to consider matters relating to the initial employment of an individual employee.
All right, motion by Mr. Hill. Do we have a second?
Second.
I'm giving that one to Mr. Woods. He's been trying for a while. Mr. Woods with the second. All in favor of going into closed session, raise your right hand. All right, we are now in closed session. Thank you very much. All right, we are now back in open session. We'll entertain a motion to approve the personnel report with the addendum.
Move to approve the personnel report with the addendum.
All right, motion by Mr. Smith. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Davis. All in favor of approving personnel report with the addendum, raise your right hand.
Yes.
It is approved. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Motion by Mr. Anderson. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, second by Mr. Woods. All in favor of adjournment, raise your right hand. We are now adjourned.